Namaskar my dear students, I am KG Kapoor. Welcome to Industrial Safety and Fire Safety Management class. In this class, you will learn about personal protective equipments, which is one of the important subject of safety education and training and PPE covered in week 4 of the course. The subject has been indexed in overview, introduction, hazard controls, PPEs for hazard controls, PPEs for non-respiratory system, PPEs for head, PPEs for eye and face, hearing protection, hand protections, foot protections, PP for respiratory system, training for PP and responsibility, finally summary. Safety have been slowly, requirement of safety has increased. The safety has been taken care of since 1975 and it has evolved gradually from industrial age to current scenario. As you can say, developing age, the safety gears has also evolved. From 1875 to 1900, electrification started and PP were rarely available. Heads made of felt or leather and homemade belt being used rarely. From 1901 to 1925, homemade hot sticks and rubber gloves in practice. From 1926 to 1950, hazardous shotgun sticks, hydraulic digger were made. From 1951 to 1970, fiberglass sticks, leather gloves on top of rubber gloves for most of the electrical protection, and two-way radios, bucket trucks were in use. From 1970 to 1990, telescopic of extending stick have been developed and thermoplastic heads have come in picture. Rubber hand gloves with extended sleeve have come into use. From 1991 until nowadays, arc flesh protective clothing is available and daily it is upgrading. Body harness and the fall arresters have been developed. Lanyards and insulated hazards are being used and they are gradually improving the quality. The personal protective equipment, PPE, any safety equipment that is worn to prevent injuries in the workplace when engineering and administrative controls are not feasible or not being implemented. Employers must assess the workplace and eliminate and reduce the hazards. Employer must provide personal protective equipment when necessary by region of hazards encountered that are capable of causing injury or impairment. PPEs are no substitute for engineering work practices or administrative controls. At best, PP create a barrier between hazard and worker contact. They do not eliminate the hazard, they simply create a barrier. They do not eliminate the hazard, so if equipment fails, then exposure occurs. For this reason, they must be worn always to provide protection despite other safety devices and the controls. How the hazards are controlled, we see in this picture. Now, there is a loin and there is a prey. You can say loin is a hazard and prey is a worker. Then how this worker can be protected? Till the time this loin is kept inside the cage, the hazard is controlled. As soon as the loin is freed from the cage or coming out of the cage, then the prey is at high risk. Now it is between the prey, or you can say, as we have nominated, this prey is nothing but a worker, a loin is a hazard. If this worker or the prey have the skills to protect himself, then he will be saved, or else the hazard or the loin will kill the prey. Here, the conclusion is that all living things has potential to survive. Only thing, the living things should know how to protect, how to survive. One of the method is selection of a right personal protective equipment. There is a hierarchy of controls whereas hazard controls are concerned. Now, hazard can be controlled in many ways, starting from illumination to personal protective equipment. There is a hierarchy of controls. Illumination is the most effective way of controlling the hazards. It is the most effective, which is at the top. This can be done by physically removing the hazard. Then there is a substitution which replaces the hazard. Then engineering control means you can isolate people from hazard. Then if engineering control also fails, elimination substitution is not possible. Engineering control also fails, then admin control shall be applied and change the way people work. And finally, it will come the personal protective equipment is the last barriers that can be used along with all other controls are one of them. This PPE is the last barriers for protection of the workers if other engineering controls may be available or may not be available. PPE controls require worker to wear something for protection. Quality of PPE is primemost factors while selecting the PPE. The PPE should be able to protect against workplace hazards. They should fit properly. PPE provides unrestricted movement of the body part, be durable and cleanable, and PPE should allow unrestricted functioning of other PPE. There are two types of PPE, it is non-respiratory type and respiratory type. PPE for non-respiratory system is the head organ safety helmet that protect against fall of objects, impact striking against. For eyes, safety goggles, face shield is that protect against splash of liquid, UV rays during welding, and PPE for ear, it is an ear plug, ear muffs, they protect from high noise, and hand are protected from gloves, leather rubber, Kevlar and cotton. They protect against the hazard of cutting material handling, acid alkali, heat, radiation and general purpose. Then legs are protected by safety shoes, gumboot, anti-static boots. They protect from the hazards arising out of sharp objects, handling, falling of material, heat radiation, acid alkali, static electricity. Then body is being protected by the apron, that is, it may be a leather apron, PVC apron, a Kevlar apron and safety harness. It protects against falling of the hot chips, splashing of chemicals and falling from height. The personal protective equipment for head is the helmet. Head protection is required to prevent frequent causes of head injury, falling objects from above striking on the head, bump head against fixed objects such as exposed pipes or beams, or accidental head contact with electrical hazards. Why head protection is important? Because if head is protected, so this protection will also give the protection to the brain, to ears, to mouth, nose and finally eyes. Now PPE for head protection are having several classes. It is not simply a PPE can give protection from all type of hazards to the head. Now class G is the general safety helmet. It gives protection against impact and penetration, low voltage electrical protection, approved tested to 2200 volt. Then class E is exclusively for protection from the electrical hazard. Protect from the falling object impact along with the electrical against high voltage. It is proof tested to 20,000 volts. Class C is a conductive helmet. It is designed for comfort, protect heads that may bump against fixed objects, does not protect against falling objects or electrical hazards. Why? Because this is a conductive, this is for comfort. Then there is another type of helmet, one is full brim, type 2 is having brim at the front only. Now type 1 ANSI Jet 891 1997 is a type 1 helmet that is having full brim. This protects from objects that fall directly on the top of the helmet, but not from objects that strike the side, front or back of the head. Then there is ANSI Z891 1997 type 2 helmet is there. It protects from strikes to the top of the head from blows to the sides, front and back of the head, suitable for workers who are not always in the standing position. Now PPEs for eye and face protection are safety glasses, safety goggles, face shield and welding face shield. The common causes of eye injuries are chemical splashes, blood or opium splashes or sprays, intense light, dust and other flying particles, molten metal splashes. The specification must comply with IS 5980-1980 by Eye Protection and IS 8521 Part 1 and 2 1984 for Industrial Safety Face Shield and IS 1179 1967 Equipment for Eye and Face Protection during welding. PP for eyes are available. They are goggles, direct ventilated goggles, indirect ventilated goggles and non-ventilated goggles. Now safety glasses used to protect against moderate impact from the particles. The prescription glasses for eye protection must be used while using prescription glasses. Goggles protect eyes and the facial area immediately surrounding the eyes from the impact, dust and splashes. Now direct ventilated type of goggles resist direct passage of large particles into the goggles, prevent fogging by allowing air circulation. Indirect ventilated goggles prevent fogging by allowing air circulation. It also protects against liquid or chemical splash entry. Our non-ventilated is used where there is high hazard. It does not allow the passage of air into the goggles. It prevents splash entry. However, it may fog and require frequent lens cleaning. PP for face are different types of face shield. The face shield protects face from nonsense dust and potential passage of sprays of hazardous liquid. Shields do not protect from impact hazard unless so rated. Shields are of face protection, not for eye protections. To protect the eyes, wear safety glass with side shield or goggles under the face shield. Welding shields protect eyes from burns caused by UV light and intense radiant light. Protect eyes and face from flying sparks, metal spatter slag and the chips. The hearing protection is very important for the workers who are directly or indirectly exposed to high level of sound. There is statutory requirement of the Noise Pollution Regulation and Control Rules 2000 framed under EPA. It is scheduled under Rule 3L and Rule 4L. It gives the ambient air quality standards in respect of noise. The noisy area has been categorized in 4 zones. It is area code A is industrial area where limit of noise in daytime shall be 75 dB and night time it will be 70 dB. The area B, the zone B is categorized as a commercial area and it is denoted by area code B. Here the daytime noise limit is 65 and night time is 55. Then category C is the residential area where daytime noise level should not exceed 55 dB and night time should not exceed 45 dB. And at area code D is silence zone. Here daytime noise level should not be more than 50 dB and night time should not be more than 40 dB. The silence during normally institutions of importance like hospitals and educational institutions, etc. The loud sound can damage sensitive structures in your inner ear, causing noise-induced hearing loss, NHL, and tinnitus, ringing, roaring, or buzzing in the ears. The louder the sound, the faster it can damage your hearing loss. Therefore, one way to protect the ear is limiting the sound level as given in different categories of the area as per ambient air quality standards in respect of noise. Exposure to noise level over 85 dB can cause hearing loss. Hearing protection required at 90 dB. Hearing protection is so significant that employer must provide ear protection when the noise level in the work area is greater than indicated in the table. Now, example of hearing protection is disposable foam plug, molded earplugs, noise cancelling earplugs, ear muffs. Now, in an industrial complex where machineries are there creating high level of noise, sometimes a worker have to perform certain jobs with or without hearing protection. It depends on the level of noise. If noise level is more than permissible noise exposure where a worker has to work, then employer must provide ear protection. That permissible limit is given based on the time. If a worker is working for 8 hours in an area having 90 dB sound, he needs a hearing protection. If a worker working for 6 hours in a noisy area, then which is a noisy area, if sound level is 92 dB, then it will be treated as a noisy area, then ear protection is required. If a worker is working for a duration of 4 hours and for area where sound level is 95, then he is to be provided the protection for the noise level. Similarly, if he is working for a duration of a quarter hours, a sound level is 115 dBA, then he is working in a noisy area, then noise level protection is required. To brief, a worker is required protection while he is working in a noisy area in a sound for a period then prescribed. Impact noise should not exceed 140 dB. Now, hand protections are given by different types of hand gloves designed for different types of hazards. Potential hazard for hands are skin absorption of hazardous substances or the chemicals, laceration of severe cuts, punctures, chemical burns, thermal burns, extreme temperatures. The causes of hand injuries are falling or rolling of heavy objects, crushing or penetrating materials, sharp objects, exposure to molten metal, working when electrical hazards exist, and repetition of the motion. The different types of hand gloves are required for different types of hazards. Like if there is a work on vibration to control the vibration hazard. When in a concrete there is a electrical hammer is used to break the concrete, then there is a vibration. The hand glove of anti-vibration type is to be worn to protect from the vibration hazard. Similarly, if you are handling the chemicals, then chemical resistance hand gloves are to be used. If there is a chances of cut from the sharp edge or from the knife, then cut resistance hand gloves are to be worn. Or we can say that hand gloves are to be selected based on the hazards which are arising out of different activities. Now, foot protection is given by the different types of boots. The causes of foot injuries are falling or rolling of heavy object, crushing or penetrating materials, sharp objects, exposure to molten metal, working on or around hot, wet or slippery surfaces, working when electrical hazard exists. Conditions requiring foot protections are hazards arising out of impact, compressions, cut, punctures, chemicals and the temperature. Foot and leg protections is given by impact resistance toe and instep made of steel and composite, heat resistance soles, metal shanks, especially footwear may be needed, mortar stars guards, liquid or chemical resistance, conductive or non-conductive. A protection from hazards is the shoes with the metal toe cap protect against knocks, falling object, and rubber shoes protect against chemical materials, electrical hazards. Body protection is required it is given by clothing of those parts of the body exposed to the possible injuries. The type of body protection is laboratory coat, coverall, vest, jackets, aprons, surgical gowns, full body suits. The selection of body protection is very important. Materials effective against particular hazard are paper-like fiber is suitable for dust and splashes, treated wood and cotton is suitable for fire resistance, dust abrasion, rough irritating surfaces, and duck is suitable for cuts and the brushes, leather is suitable for dry heat and the flames, rubber is suitable for rubberized fabrics, neoprene and plastic other items in rubber family are suitable for certain chemicals and physical hazards. PPE for respiratory system is very important because this is invisible hazards. Whatever going inside our body, normally we are not able to see. Now, the important element for survival is the oxygen. The oxygen deficiency is one of the area which need a self-contained breathing apparatus, supplied airline respirators. The toxic contamination immediately dangerous to life or health, IDLH and non-IDLH. Now, IDLH is for IDLH conditions. IDLH conditions, briefly I can say that immediately dangerous to life or health. For such conditions, we use self-contained breathing apparatus, canister for escape only, and supplied line respirators. For non-IDLH conditions are where there is no immediate danger for life and the health, then gas and such as gaseous vapors, then chemical cottage, canister, airline, hose mask with or without blower is used. Next category is the particulates. The particulates is a hazard, then worker is protected by supplied airline respirators, hose mask, mechanical filter. Now, if there is a combination of vapor and particulates, then we use cartridge with mechanical filter, canister with mechanical filter, hose mask, supplied airline respirators. Now, how to inspect and clean the respirators? Maintenance of any personal protective equipment is very important. Therefore, once we use the respirator, especially it's a mask, then we should inspect all the respirators for wear and tear before and after each use. It should be washed in detergent solution, then disinfect by immersing in a sanitizing solution. Now, storage of respirator is also an art. We should protect against dust, sunlight, heat, extreme cold, excessive moistures and damaging chemicals. It should be stored in and returned to a natural configuration. A training for PPE is as important as the PPE itself. Wrong use of any personal protective equipment can cause another hazard and sometimes may result in death of the worker. The training requirement is that each employee who is required to use PPE must be trained to know when PPE is necessary, why PPE is necessary, how to properly put on, take off, adjust and wear the PPE, the limitations of PPE, and proper care and maintenance, useful life and disposal of PPE. Employees must demonstrate an understanding of the training and the ability to use PP properly before being allowed to perform work requiring the use of PP. Training should be documented through a written certification to verify that each employee has received and understood the training requirement. The training for PP is grouped here. The employer is supposed to assess the workplace for hazard use engineering and administrative controls. Employee has to use engineering and administrative controls to eliminate or reduce hazards before using PP. Employee also to select and provide appropriate PP at employees to protect them from hazards that cannot be eliminated. Employer has to inform employee how to use and care for their PP. Also, employer require employees to wear selected PP in place in the workplace. Employer must ensure that all the employees who are working in hazardous area, they use proper PPE. Now, as far as employee concerned, employees are also having an obligation for using correct type of personal protective equipment when required. Employees should comply with the standards, rules and the regulations. He should use personal protective equipment provided or as directed for their protection. Employees should report unsafe and unhealthy working conditions. Employee shall not accept risk of injury. Employee must use PPE in accordance with training instructions and the procedure. He should inspect PPE for wear and tear and other damage before use. To summarize, personal protective equipment, commonly referred to as PPE, is equipment want to minimize exposure to hazards that cause serious workplace injuries and illness. These injuries and illness may result from contact with chemical, radiological, physical, electrical, mechanical or other workplace hazards. Elimination of hazard is the best practice. When elimination is not possible, find out a substitution followed by engineering control, admin control and finally and the last barrier using personal protective equipment. PPEs are two categories, non-respiratory and respiratory. Every job function in every department is assessed for hazards. Each part of the body is taken into consideration during risk assessment. Personal protective equipment is selected in response to a specific hazard. Proper wear and care of personal protective equipment is necessary to provide effective protection. Here is the different types of protection shown to the body. Personal protective equipment is equipment that protect the workers against health and safety risks while working. For the head protections, here safety helmet, arc flash helmet and the nets. For eye protection, he should use different types of goggles. For breathing apparatus, half and full face mask and disposable mask, shield hoods and the visors. For ear protection, he should use earplug, ear muffs and helmet, muffed ear muff. Then gloves is to be used for hand protections from falling hazard or fall arresters are to be used for harness, threading, lanyards and ropes. For foot hazards control of footwear, they are available safety boot, anti-slip shoes, safety shoes, Wellingtons and composite. For body protections, he should use flame resistance, arc flash resistance and chemical protecting clothings. Now there are certain books for the references. You can refer to Factory Act 1948, IS Code 4501-1981, Specification for Aprons, IS Code 6153-1971, Protective Leather Clothings, IS Code 8519-1977, Guide for Selection and Industrial Safety Equipment for the body, and a lot of material is available on the web store for reference. Thank you. Namaskar.